I always know it's going to be a good stream when Kay is here. If anybody could give me a thumbs up or let me know if they could hear me, that would be spectacular. That would be wonderful. That's all I'm trying to do. Okay, I can be heard. That's all I care about. So, folks, how are we doing today up in the chat? I've actually cheaped out and started using this Jabra headset, Bluetooth headset, and it's dangerous because I'm over Bluetooth. You don't want to go wireless if you can help it, but I also want to be able to be hands-free and walk around a little bit. So thank you for letting me know. It sounds good. My, oh my, oh my. 1 second here, hold on. So what am I going to be reacting to today? Well, there's been a few things out on the internet real quick that I want to react to. Rusty Truck, as always, did a great live last night, and I like his live. I have a lot of respect for Rusty Truck. He's one of the more intelligent content providers here on these YouTube streets. He's always got a fairly good take, and he always has some pretty original shit. I'm still laughing about the fact that he said to Jam Wayne, "You done fucked up. You petted the retard." And he's absolutely right, because when you pet them, when you pet that retard, he's gonna keep coming back to your door, and he's gonna fucking make your life hell now, Jam Wayne. I can believe how excited Johnny was. I mean, he was like a giggling little schoolgirl. He was so happy, biting his hand and shit. I was amazed he didn't cry. And that was some of the funniest shit I've seen in a long time, man. But here's the deal, man. Like, when you pet Johnny, you are entering into a contract, the terms of which you are not aware of. So, Jam Wayne, when you petted him, here's what's going to happen next. He's going to expect your attention on a fairly regular basis, whether that be daily or thrice weekly. And if you don't do it, he's going to turn against you, and he's going to get nasty and very dark, and he's going to start calling up your family and relatives. He's going to try to, quote unquote, expose you with information he doesn't have, and you're just not prepared for what you did. I think, Jam Wayne, you were thinking like, hey, oh, this guy doesn't like Gobble. Oh, I heard he's got beef with Gobble. I'm going to get him on my side. Yeah, that's not how it works. I mean, yeah, he'll be on your side, but it'll be too much. Hey, G3 Mini Brandy Day, welcome, everybody. Oh my gosh. So yeah, Johnny's got a new love, and I hope it stays that way. I hope he stays away from Upchurch and just gives Jam Wayne all of his love. But also in that live, Mr. Rusty Truck, there was Uncle Will came up with a comment, and I'll try to get to the video. I don't think that Rusty Truck is going to strike me for sharing his content, but because he's not a bitch. So anyway, I'm going to pull this up real quick because I thought it was interesting. I'm going to try to find it here real quick. I did mark the time. Of course I did, but that's on my phone, and I'm too lazy to go across the room and get it. Okay, yeah, here we go. Gonna share this thing. Share screen. There's no take backs, right, Jenny? No take back. He's with you now forever, Jam Wayne. He's with you forever. So, again, I hope Rusty doesn't mind me sharing his live there. Friends can disagree, right? And I definitely hope I'm considered one of Rusty Truck's friends. I definitely consider him somebody I respect, but I do disagree with him on his take here. And let's just play it real quick. Let's just back it up a little bit. So I want to get it all here.
Let's get into this dump.
Wow, that camera's sharp right now. Look at that.
It is not.
Until you're right here right now.
All right. So we've seen this. We laughed about it. We're gonna laugh about it again. And I apologize for putting you through this. But it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. I'm kind of gonna just laugh at this and react to it because there's not a whole lot I could say or add or stop it. but we will. Well, it's enjoyable. Trust me. So, uh,
Okay, so we see here it's kind of has my little line through. I'll see if I can get it to go away here. No. Triple T is the same man. Uncle Will made a statement. Triple T is the same man who thinks it's okay to talk on appropriately to adolescents about sex. What he means, talk inappropriately to adolescents about sex, right? So this is what Uncle Will stated, and this is, obviously goes back to the live that we did about Triple T, ourselves. Okay, so this is Rusty Truck has a take on it. I don't necessarily disagree with it. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I want you guys to hear what he has to say. I'm sure he'll do a live about it as well, hopefully.
we'll speak about that at a different time, Uncle Will. But I think there's a big thing there that's being missed about that, and I didn't hear anybody talk about it. Fuck it, I'll say it right now. The stuff that you're talking about, if in the absence of context, if he was not saying baggers gone wild or whatever that stupid idea was at the time, I would say that you're right. Okay. But because the context of that is they were doing something stupid, hoping to get noticed for being outlandish and doing that stupid shit. Do I think it's a good idea? Absolutely not. Do I think it's in good taste? No. Did it age well? Absolutely not. But the problem is there is context with that. So with every one of those instances, it was the baggers gone wild thing. If you caught him in a candid situation doing this without that, I could back what you're saying. But I think that we're missing the point that they were trying to do something to get noticed. And I don't necessarily think that it's fair to attribute those things to him in malice. I think that it was a bad idea, absolutely, but I don't think that the nasty shit that's being said in terms of that fits the situation, if that makes sense to you. But I don't want to get on a fucking side note with that. But you did bring it up, so I figured I'd touch on it.
So let me go ahead and give my 2 cents on what Rusty said. First of all, I agree with Rusty that it was a horrible idea. Right now, Rusty's operating under the assumption, I guess you'd say, under the belief that this thing that Triple T did was for Baggers Gone Wild. Let me tell you, the place where Gone Wild actually existed. It existed only in Triple T's brain. That's where Baggers Gone Wild existed. There was no contract with MTV. MTV probably put out a lot of open calls for reality content at that time. I don't doubt that Triple T thought he could get it on YouTube. Excuse me, thought he could get it on MTV. That he thought he could make it into a big thing. I mean, he's always clout chasing. That's what he wants to do. No, it didn't get on MTV. Obviously, the quality was incredibly poor. It was shot on a potato phone, and he made sure to put his face in it to let everybody know that he's the head bagger, right? Um, where does the problem come in? The problem comes in here is that I think Rusty Truck thinks these kids knew that they are participating in this particular video to be gone on MTV. I guarantee you, had it gone on MTV in 2015 or 16, whenever it shot, those kids and those kids' parents would be fucking mortified, right? That they were talking that way. Okay, I think I think those kids thought we're just playing around at work. Some of the kids knew he was doing Baggers Gone Wild. Absolutely. Some of those kids knew that. Do I think all those kids knew that? No. Did they sign releases where they said, yeah, I'm going to appear in this, what's the word for it? Not demo, uh, idea of your show, this first cut of it, right? Do forgive me. My brain is not 100% working right now. I only had a little bit of coffee, even though it is 12:30 here. But I don't think these kids took it seriously what he was saying. You also have to understand that everything that he asked these kids was sexual. Every single question, everything he could do to prompt the conversation, to steer the conversation, was sexual. I would think that Baggers Gone Wild, personally to me, if it was to be a show, would be about pranks that they would play on one another, right? Or they could talk about partying they did, right? There are a lot of things that people who are teenagers do that isn't sex, right? I can understand if he said, "Okay, tell me about the party. How wild was that party that you went to?" Or said, "Oh, I heard you just got your license," and then someone say, "Oh, he's driving crazy." Like there's lots of stuff, directions it can go. Sexual is the only direction that shit goes. Okay. And when they don't talk sexual enough, Triple T prompts them and asks them questions to go more sexual. I do have a problem, though, with people in this community throwing the word pedophile around. Triple T is not a pedophile. Not a pedophile in the least. Clip that. Triple T is not a pedophile. He is someone who is a clout chaser big time. He is someone whose judgment is clearly piss poor. He is someone who sexual harassed that one girl in the video, Brianna. He is somebody who also talks to these kids at their mutual place of work where he is their manager. He is wearing a red outfit. Those kids are wearing white outfits. He's in his early 50s at this time, or excuse me, early 40s, it's mid 40s at this time. He's 44 years old at the time of this, and of making these videos in 2015. He's 54 now, 53, 54 now. He is the adult in the room, right? Those kids are easily 16, 17, 18, maybe 19. They're not all 18. I don't buy it for a New York minute that they're all 18. And I guarantee you that Triple D did not check their identities. He didn't check their driver's licenses or state IDs. He didn't get a sign off or permission for it. Lori's even admitted that. So on one hand, it's just messing around and we're talking to friends. You don't need to have Lori says you don't need to have a signature or a release form for just talking with friends. At the same time, Triple T's they're also trying to push the narrative that we did this for a show that we were making, right? So which one is it? You can't be both. You can't just be screwing around talking to friends with no intent of doing anything with this video, or you're trying to make it for a proposal for an MTV pilot. Excuse me, pilot was the word I was looking for before. You're trying to make an MTV pilot out of this potato footage on your phone. Okay, which one is it? Because if you're making a pilot for MTV, these kids need to know, one, that this stuff has a potential to be seen by millions. Two, you need releases and you need to check their identity to make sure that they are of legal age. Okay, if you don't have 18 on there, then guess what? You need their parents' permission. I guarantee you their parents probably wouldn't sign off on it, right? I can only say as a parent that if some dude who is in his mid 40s was talking to my 16, 17-year-old, 18, 19, 20, 22, 21, 22-year-old daughter that way, I would have a big problem with it. I'd probably need bail money because it's creepy as fuck. Okay. It's pervy. It's creepy as fuck. It is definitely inappropriate. And when you get your HR pamphlet for your job, and I know Rusty, you work as well. We've all had a job one way or another. One of the things they always go over in HR is sexual harassment policies. They're not supposed to be doing this kind of shit at work for the reason that it's not just inappropriate. There's legal consequences to that. See, anything HR does is to protect the company. Human resources isn't there to protect you, as we all should know. They're there to protect the company. Okay. Because they don't want to get fucking sued. They don't want to have legal issues. And this was a pretty big company. It's the United States military. They were working at a PX. These kids were most likely, and I haven't heard it challenged, were kids of fellow service members. That's why it's creepy and inappropriate. And it doesn't mean that he's a pedophile. No, it just means that he's pervy and inappropriate, and he doesn't think shit out, right? And he's making poor judgment calls. And that was what I was here for. I was here to say, this guy's judgment is shit, right? When I was first pushed this information, and we'll get into that too, from other people who handed it to me and said, check into this, look into this. And when I found his old Twitter account and found the originals, I didn't really want to replay a bunch of clips from clips. The quality's crap. I had to do that in a couple instances, but in most instances, I have the original footage. I found it very disturbing initially, but the people who were pushing me were saying, "Oh, he's a pedophile." I said, "No, he's not a pedophile. Right? Those are not children. He's not a pedo. That's not what I'm saying. Right? I'm saying, look at the gross, pervy way he treated these teens in their mutual place of work. That shows poor judgment calls. Okay, and I don't buy the MTV thing. That's to say that they had any real opportunity of ever going live. If the weird 44-year-old pervy dude at my work came up to me and said, "Hey, you're gonna make a video from TV?" Yeah, right. Okay, sure, buddy. I'm sure it'll be on MTV. Great. I don't think the kids took him seriously, but there was a kid in that video that clearly did not want to participate. He was not prepared beforehand. He did not authorize an interview. None of them authorized an interview because he was in there, quote unquote, just talking to friends, right? Went into the break room, pointed a camera at one boy, called him Johnny B. Hey, Johnny B, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Or I heard you went to a strip club, blah, 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 blah. Oh, you don't want to get in trouble for going to a strip club because you're underage. He said you don't want to you don't want to implicate yourself. So clearly all those kids were not under 18. We're not over 18. But anyway, the kid just keeps looking at his phone. He just kind of ignores him. He doesn't want anything to do with it, right? There's a way you do. There's a way you do something like that, and there's a way that you don't do something like that, right? First of all, the place you're shooting it in, you need to get permission from. Okay, that is not a public institution. You can't just walk in there unless you're military. Okay, you can't shop there unless you're military. All right, it's a PX, post exchange. They got turned from postal exchanges into grocery stores with everything and postal services. But anyway, you have to get permission from them saying, hey, is it okay for me to shoot in here? You guarantee you the first thing they're going to say is no, because they don't want the headache of the red tape. So he didn't ask, because to ask permission is to only be denied. Okay. So he said, fuck it. I'm not going to ask permission to shoot in here. I'm just going to shoot in here. And does he bring in professional equipment? No, that would probably be a red flag, really. People would see, a best boy grip with a microphone and people with lights and then people with a couple of red one cameras. Yeah, it's going to be pretty obvious. It's not going to go unnoticed. And people who are probably managing the grocery store are going to say, hey, this is not okay. Right. So he shoots it on his phone, pretty potato quality. Okay. But, theoretically, one could send that to MTV and they could say, hey, yeah, I like your idea. Let's put it that way. So what you do then is you at least get the sign off of the people that are over 18. Make sure that they're over 18 by checking their ideas and having them sign a release form that you specifically are okay with this footage potentially being seen by millions on the MTV network. He didn't do that. He didn't get them. Otherwise, he'd be showing them. He doesn't have them. We challenged him for him, and they admitted. And when I challenged him for him, Lori came out and said, "Well, you didn't need him. He was just talking to friends." Okay, so either you're just talking to friends or you're shooting a production. Which one is it, right? So anyway, he didn't get the sign off on these people. They don't really know what they're participating in. But when they're asked questions, Triple T always goes to a sexual place. Always goes to a sexual place. So that's the problem that I have with it, right? I'm not saying he's a pedophile. I don't like people who say that have this idea in their head that it's either pedophile content or it isn't. No, there's a huge gray area of weird pervy shit, and Triple T is in it. Hey, little emu, sorry. Pardon me. So yeah, that's my beef with it, right? It's not my beef that I think he's a pedophile. I do not. I think it's weird. I think he asked him pervy questions. I do not think he's a pedophile. I think he's talking to teenagers. Pedophile is for children. He's not talking to children there. But I actually got shown another. I got sent another video from that series that I did not have, and I want to share it with y'all because it wasn't one that was shown in Uncle Will's live. It's not one that was shown in my subsequent live. It's new content. So let me find it. Yeah, here it is. Let me pull this up. Because all this stuff needs to be shown. All this stuff needs to be taken into account. His past actions of clout chasing on here and starting drama, those need to be taken into account. These videos that he made with these kids, they need to be taken into account. And when you do that, you paint a picture of someone who has very poor impulse control and decision-making skills. Does that make sense? Does that click with anybody? I mean, do you think I'm wrong? Do you think what he did was right? And that, it's perfectly okay to shoot those teens? Like, you tell me, right? Back over here, share my screen. What is going on with this? Man, oh man. Excuse me, guys. I just completely dropped the tab that I was trying to share. Always professional here, folks. Always professional here. Always the best professional live you'll ever experience. Let's just be real honest about that. Okay. My Lord, Dan Redbeard. Okay. So here's my shorts page. So this is the video. So in this video, the title, it's on Triple T's channel. You can kind of see him down there, right? You go to my page and look at it. It's true. This is originally on Triple T's channels 5 years ago at the time it was clipped. Brienne checks out teacher and Johnny D's dick. That's what he's saying. Brienne checks out teacher and Johnny's dick, right? That's an interesting title. So let's start from the beginning.
Always type, so it was bold right there. So you know, everybody looked at it. Like, who couldn't look at it?
Did you get turned on?
No, he wasn't.
So the first question Triple T asks is, did you get turned on? Did you get turned on? What the fuck?
Man, you seen those
nipples.
You seen those nipples.
So you didn't look at him in the face. You just looked at his dick.
You didn't look at him in the face. You just looked at him in his dick. Triple T is always steering the conversation in a sexual direction, asking inappropriate questions to people who are teenagers.
And he would always keep his room cold. So his nipples would always. No.
Used to look at his
First of all, my English teacher used to have his pants always tight, so it was bold right there. So you know, everybody looked at it. Like, who couldn't look at it?
Did you get turned on?
No.
What the fuck? Am I wrong? Am I crazy? Kay says, I think if it was my kid, we'd be throwing hands, but that's just me. It would be me too. It would be me too. I definitely need bail money. Here's the situation. There are people out there that, here's my theory on it. I don't know this to be true, and I'm not speaking of Rusty Truck here. I'm speaking of people in general. People that support him see that this man has 4 Purple Hearts, and he served the United States with distinction and valiantry. Okay. That is a very hard circle to square when you see information like this. It's kind of the same thing that happens with people that like Michael Jackson, right? They try to ignore all the weird pedo evidence of Michael Jackson, the paying off of the of the kids' parents and all that kind of stuff. The Jesus juice, which was wine inside of a pop can, all that kind of weird crap. The secret hidden room inside of his room. They try to like disregard all that weird creepy shit about MJ because their music, MJ's music, affected them so much. I wanna rock with you, all that kind of shit, right? All night, and they love that shit. Okay, Thriller, boom, 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 boom. They love that stuff, right? They groove to it, and if they have to say to themselves, "I really enjoyed a pedophile's music," they can't say that, and they want to still listen to his music. They still want to listen to Michael Jackson's music, and if he's a pedophile, they can't listen to a pedophile's music, can they? Right? It's very difficult to square that circle. So what they do is they try to paint it in any light they can where it can be remotely appropriate. A lot of people. I don't think that's what Rusty Truck is doing. I just want to be very clear about that. Right? So, but you have to square that circle because we all exist at various different points in time. I am not the same person I was when I was 6 years old. I'm not the same person I was when I was 30 years old. Okay. We all change. Triple T at one point was still is, decorated soldier who who immensely made his country proud. Okay. However, when he left the military of active duty in 2007, 7 years later, he's making these videos. That's him in 2015. Okay. And if you look at him, who he is in 2024, I see a lot more poor judgment. Very poor judgment to make these videos in 2015. Very poor judgment to do what he's doing now, which is starting drama all over YouTube, riding ACAL's dick, right? In fact, Triple T has gone from being a soldier with 4 Purple Hearts to being a weird, creepy internet perv who fucking clout chases B-level music for celebrities, right? He didn't get the attention he wanted from Ryan Upchurch, so then he jumped on the ACAL train, and that's plain for everyone to see. Okay, he was all too happy to let ACAL spew milk and tell Creek Squad to suck his dick on Triple T's channel. When ACAL said Creek Squad can suck my dick, that was done on Triple T's channel. Did Triple T pop up and say, "Hey, ACAL, that's not cool. That's inappropriate. Don't be using my channel to say that kind of shit"? Don't be using my channel to try to railroad my guest, which is Captain Kirk Reacts. Be decent and an appropriate person. Did he do that? No. He was all too happy to let ACAL use his stream, use Triple T's own stream, Triple T's own stream for whatever reason ACAL wanted, because Triple T is a bitch. That's who he is in 2024. I'm not going to talk about the person Triple T was in 2007 and 2000, 2001, 1990s, because that Triple T, as far as I can see, was a great dude. Was a dude that everyone should look up to. But who I look at him as 2015 and 2024, that's not the same dude. I have a theory. I've heard from people that he has had brain injury, and I think that's the reason why Lori is so very good at cleaning up Triple T's messes, because she loves him, and she's more than happy to clean up his messes because she remembers who he was, right? And maybe and still is to some degree, I'm sure. So, but that's not who he is now. He's not that same guy. He's a guy who's making very, very fucking poor decisions. Someone needs to tell him to stop and get fucking proper help. Don't put him in a position where he can fucking turn himself into a low-cow, where he can, do these things. Okay, Rusty's one of my favorite YouTubers, says Limu. Mine too. But I don't agree with his take on this one at all. No context is acceptable from this form of pervy grandpa. I don't think so either. I agree with you, Limu. But you know what, dude? I'm not trying to give Rusty Truck shit. I also don't know if Rusty Truck has seen all the evidence, right? I think he's maybe seen a lot of it. I think that Rusty Truck is someone who believes in personal freedom and responsibility very much. And he probably is looking at it in the context of, well, even if they're not 18, they're pretty much adults, and therefore they're responsible for what they get themselves hemmed up into, right? I think that's his position. And I respect that. But I disagree, because I don't think even, your prefrontal cortex isn't even formed until the age of 25, right? That means your brain is not completely developed until the age of 25. And to make a decision like that in 2015 of potentially being seen all over the internet, we really didn't have the ramifications of what that would really mean. Yeah, we had Star Wars Kid, we have seen things go viral. And I guarantee you there's even a part of those teens that did willingly speak that wanted to go viral. Okay. But it doesn't make it okay, because they're not making the right decision clearly. And also, what they were sold may not have been what they got. Baggers gone wild. That gives me a connotation of baggers playing pranks on one another inside of a grocery store, or telling personal stories of parties they've been at. And it might get a little bit sexual, but you let them talk about that. You don't just jump on it every time there's a sexual conversation. Oh, you looked at your teacher's dick? Oh, did look at his face, did you? Did it turn you on? Those are pervy questions, man. Those are pervy fucking questions. You don't ask young women those questions when you're a 44-year-old man and you are their superior in the organization. When they are their manager, their boss, you do not ask them questions like that. It is not okay. It isn't, oh, show me how you're going to fuck her, and pretend that you're fucking her by using that chair right there to a young man who's could be 18. I doubt it. Looks like more like 17 to me. But let's just say he's 18 or 19 or 22. You don't ask somebody that shit in a place of work. Okay. It's wrong. It's creepy. And I don't think these kids knew what they were possibly getting into. Did these kids think when this was being made that some dude named Dan Redbeard in Ireland would be, showing this content, 10 years later, 9 years later? No, they didn't think that. So yeah, I disagree with Rusty's take. Respectfully disagree with Rusty on this. I think that a lot of people disagree with Rusty's take on this. I think that, you really got to sit down and think about these things. But I think it doesn't help that other people have come out and said, try to use the word pedo with Triple T. He is not a pedo. Okay. This is not pedophile behavior. This is creepy, weirdo, pervy grandpa behavior with someone who is a teenager, nearly adult. Okay. Pedophile is just for kids. Right. I'm sorry. It's just for kids. Right. And obviously, if he was talking to 7-year-olds like this, I could see people trying to throw that label on him, but that's not what he's doing. They're not 7-year-olds or 6-year-olds. They're teenagers, and it's still very inappropriate, but not as bad as that. And yeah, I think it's very weird. Now, I will say on the stream, right? How should I put this? Put this in a way, or I'll let you guys use your imaginations. How about that? Okay. So if you guys can see my screen still, let's just do that. Okay. Okay, cool. You can see my screen. Lima email says, I don't remember who it was, but someone said Triple T lost his brother at this time. Again, yeah, it's not an excuse either. Like I lost my brother in 2016. I had no desire to go forth and start asking teenagers sexual questions. That's a cop out. I mean, if he said that as an excuse, that's a cop out. I'm not saying that Triple T said that. I'm just saying if he did. Yeah, Brandy Day says G3 Mini says honestly, knowing that how the military is really strict about the moral and ethical code, I don't. I'll just put it up. How about that? Pin message. Does that work? No. You think I'd be better at this shit, right? I'm on the wrong screen. That's why. Yeah, here we go. So it says that essentially the military is very strict and they wouldn't have allowed the filming of this stuff. Exactly. Kay says no, it was his mother, not brother, because he said Cuther. So yeah, you're right. I thought it said brother. I could have been one or the other. Still, like I lost my mom. It would not compel me to go ask teenagers questions and steer them into making a video of sexual nature. Don't think that's really an excuse. Oh no, my mom died. Better go ask Brianna if she got turned on by looking at some dude's bulge. I mean, what? I mean, it doesn't. And I'm not saying you are saying that, Kay. I'm not. Sorry, you're saying that, Kay. Oh, last year. Sorry, Kay saying it was last year, so not 2015 at all. Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, moving on here. And Kay also said up here, I agree, referring to Lori. She has said multiple times he forgets details and she has to come and fix it. I do think there's a brain image thing here. But anyway, going back to this. So I've gone to the GitHub page of a tool called Sherlock, Sherlock. And this is a tool that installs on a computer with a Unix operating system, whether that be Mac OS 10 or Unix-like operating system, rather like Linux, etc. And what Sherlock does, these are the instructions of how to install it, how to use it. This won't run on your Windows computer. This would be what I would consider to be called an OSINT tool, right? And what does OSINT mean? I'll show you here. OSINT stands for Open Source Intelligence Framework, or OSINT here, right? What does OSINT mean? Open Source Intelligence. Open Source Intelligence means intelligence or information that we can find on the internet in lots of places, right? And this is OSINT framework is a cool website because it has all of these tools of various different types, whether they're paid or free in one place. There's a legend up here. And this tool must be installed and run locally, etc. Right? And just kind of show you how this site works. And this shows you, and you go to that search there, and you can use that utility. Now, a lot of these utilities you run on websites, they're trying to pay for, hosting and things like that. They put a lot of adware. They want you to sign up. But the really cool thing about Sherlock is Sherlock, it says here, is hunt down social media accounts by username across 400 plus social networks. This particular utility that I used was how I found Triple T's old Twitter account that he hasn't used since 2020, and then found those videos on there, right? So, thanks. And he's got another one now. This is another not used it much. It was his demon account on Twitter. See if I can find it. Oh, that's because I put time and not Tim. Anyway, I have a bookmark somewhere. You guys saw it in the last live. Do I have a bookmark? Let me see. Maybe I have a bookmark on here. Anyway, you guys saw those videos before. I'll find them here before we're in case there's somebody in here who didn't see the original ones. But among that tool and another tool called that's not right. Here we go. This tool here, Holy E-H-E here, I don't pronounce it, Holy E. This one does something the same thing that Sherlock does. It installs locally, and it shows it kind of working here. But what you do is you put in an email address, okay? And then it searches across the web for where your email address may be registered to, okay? And Triple T has put out a lot of information on his email addresses, okay? He's attached many of his email addresses that he uses for different purposes on different social media accounts. And one of those email addresses, in fact, all of those email addresses I have searched. Okay, let me go over here and show you that tool. I didn't mean to not show it to you. So here's that other tool. Now, why am I showing you guys these open source intelligence tools? Well, first of all, you can use these open source intelligence tools yourself. You're not hacking, you're not breaking into systems. You're merely using the information that is out there on the internet. And a lot of times a website will have a data leak, right? One of the big data leaks we had recently was Social Security. Was really kind of messed up. One second here, I'll find that link. I'll show that. Ah, damn it. So, Social Security numbers, risk amount information, exposing 2.9 billion people in the United States, right? This is a massive data leak. And what happens is when there are these data links, a big problem with it is that all that information goes to the dark web. And it also goes to databases like these previous tools I've showed you. And you could see when you put in somebody's email address, what websites that they've signed up to, okay? Twitter is a really easy one. Spotify is another one. What I find interesting is when you sign up to other types of websites and you use the same email address, that's bad operational security, bad OPSEC. Because if that site has a data leak, it's going to tell the world that that email address, your email address registered to you, is signed up to a website of, well, although legal, pretty gross. I'm not going to name names, right? It's not going to name names, okay? But there's someone who has signed up to a couple different websites with shemale content on them. Somebody, not going to say who. I'm going to let you use your imagination. I can tell you it's not Rusty Truck. Has signed up to websites that like transsexuals, mainly women that are pretending to be men, chicks with dicks. Okay. Someone really likes that content. And someone used the same email to sign up for a couple of those websites that had a data leak. And that data leak got turned into a database that people can search. And I'm just showing you these tools because you might have somebody you want to search on, right? And, you know, I get it. I get it. You know, you want to know who people are. So let me say that again, just so people can understand. There is someone in our community who has published their email address on one of their YouTube channels to the world. And I searched that email address and found that that email address was signed up to a very good few websites, boring, monotonous ones, you know, like Twitter, Spotify, etc. But was also signed up to a website called A Shemale Tube, like YouTube, but for shemales. And also was signed up to a forum to talk about shemales. Like you like shemales so much, you want to discuss them with other people. So maybe since you got sucking dick on your mind a lot, I'm saying this to that specific person. Now I know why. When I saw this, oh my God, I laughed so hard. I woke up my kid in the downstairs part of my house. She's like, "What the fuck? You woke me up." I found this at like 2 a.m. And I found this out. I've known this now for 2 or 3 days, but I found out after about this particular person whose name I will not say. I will let you use your imagination. Context is everything, right? Um, and I remember kicking myself going, damn it, I should have done this before. But I've done it now. So all I have to say is, if you want to find receipts, you can go find them yourself. You know the tools' names now. Now, again, you need to have a Mac computer. You need to have Homebrew installed on your Mac so you can run open source packages and computer programs, rather. But I've shown you the websites. There's Sherlock is a great tool, and oh God, how do you pronounce that? I say Hollow CEC. Here, I'll share the screen here. Oh God, I still laugh about it days later. Days later. This is the main tool I used right here. Okay, online version doesn't work. Obviously, I say try that first, but it doesn't work right. But if you go through these instructions, like this is stuff that dorks, computer nerds like me know, right? But there might be a few computer nerds out there, or you could always learn. In fact, I can even probably demonstrate how to use this tool. Maybe I should. Yeah. But this is what I'm going about. People change, 1 minute you could be a soldier of distinction, and another minute you could be surfing tranny websites. I didn't believe it myself. I had to check it out. I thought maybe somebody's email got taken and put in there because it's just too rich. But I noticed it was only those websites. It wasn't like any other nefarious websites. Because usually when you get like signed up to a bunch of porn websites, it's to like a bunch of different ones. I'm sure that person has some kind of plausible deniability that they will no doubt refer back to and say, it wasn't me on this reason. But yet, those are the only two. I mean, I didn't see this person signed up to, I don't know, Pornhub or whatever. It's just the shemale tube. Oh my God. People, you've got to be careful about the data you put out on the internet. Okay? You've got to be and to be honest, oh God, I wasn't going to say anything. But see, the problem is some people make you go nuclear. Some people make you go nuclear. Some people, they keep pushing and they don't realize how exposed and vulnerable they actually are, right? When I first came out at Triple T, it was purely because I thought what he was doing with his show, The Rundown, I had a personal distaste for it because how can someone who isn't a musician, who doesn't play any music instruments, doesn't put out any rap albums, and you don't have to be that to be in the music industry. He hasn't been a music manager, an artist relations manager, hasn't been a gig promoter. This dude in the music industry have nothing in common other than that he likes to listen to music. That's literally every human being on earth, right? And for him to just rail and talk shit on people who've putting their art out there to the world, who want to have a chance to be seen by talent like ACAL and Ryan Upchurch, etc., and you shit on them when you don't even know how to make music. Oh my God, fuck you. Fuck you. You put your time in the trenches. Oh, but then I was wrong. He did make a rap, didn't he? He did make a rap. His dog shit rap. If you haven't seen the dog shit rap, let me know. I'll play it again here. He has no room judging anybody. So then he comes back and he comes into I make that post and he comes back and he calls, hey, Cletus, dumb. I don't know if you're dumb, stupid, or just dumb, but I wasn't judging. I'm not a judge. I have judges on the show. Dude, you do a lot of judging for not being a judge on the rundown. And let's talk about your other channel, the Dog Pound Reacts. Sorry, I just got a mental image I don't want. Where you openly have a contest where you call trash or gas, where you say someone's music is trash, someone's art they put out, or it's gas, it's good, and you're judging it. You're the sole arbiter on that Dog Pound Reactions channel of judging content. So I had a problem with that. I had a problem with all of that, right? I also had a problem that I felt like he really used Johnny Cashville. Some people on here don't like Johnny Cashville. I get it. I think he's fucking hilarious. I think he might have done some wrong things in his life, but who hasn't? I think he's a good-hearted person at the end of the day. I think he's someone who makes mistakes, like trying to befriend AD. He definitely wants to see the best in every human being out there. And Triple T basically screwed him over, used him for his contacts, used him for his presence as a judge, someone who's had actual success in the music industry. Johnny Cashville has. If you only know him for YouTube and his paintings, you don't know all of Johnny Cashville. Johnny Cashville has put out a bunch of really high, very professional music videos. He's put out at least 3 albums I know of, and he's also produced a Ryan Upchurch album, right? Johnny Cashville has experience in the music industry. You may not like his music. You may not like him. That's fine. That's irrelevant to my point. My point being is that he actually has experience in the music industry. And you'll notice that if you've ever watched the rundown and watched Johnny Cashville judge, he does so when he doesn't like something, he is very positive in most cases that I've heard anyway, of trying to use positive criticism to help them out with their music, offering good advice. He doesn't just shit on them like Triple T does, or ACAL, or any of these other fucking Muppets. So I have a real problem with that. Okay, so you have to take all this stuff in there, and so Triple T comes out with a really shitty comment to me. So did Lori, but he made Lori pull his comments. But I found them in my YouTube studio because they weren't on there. They're not public. She deleted them or he deleted them. But then I was talking about that, and someone said to me, "Man, you're talking about the wrong stuff." I said, "Well, what do you mean?" They said, "Dumb Gene put out this live a few years back, but it was him, Dumb Gene, reacting to content that Iceman found. And it might have been Filthy Frog, might have been involved as well. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not saying that to like give you guys some kind of underhand. I don't know. Filthy Frog had nothing to do with it. But we know Iceman found, because the video was being shared of Iceman's that Dumb Gene was reacting to. But here's the problem. Dumb Gene only showed a couple of those weird scenarios, and they were weird. But what a lot of people in this community did was, because Dumb Gene was saying it, then we're going to discount it, right? Yeah, I don't like Dumb Gene. I think Dumb Gene's an idiot, right? I'm sorry. Relatively good dance with oil. That was some of the funniest shit. Honestly, Dumb Gene is just, I don't like him. He yells at the camera. I don't know why he feels the need to yell at the camera. And he does a lot of own goals, right? But I don't hate him. Like, I fucking dislike Johnny Gobble. Johnny Gobble's a wretched piece of shit, right? But Dumb Gene's is kind of stupid. He's dumb. He even tells you himself. He was looking to clout chase, make money and sell rap off the back of Gobble's beef with Upchurch. Anyway, just because Dumb Gene shared them 5 years ago and nobody watched them, or very few people watched them, doesn't mean that we have the whole story. I wanted to show you the original files, and that's what I got. Okay? That's what I got. Okay? And I showed those original files. I think a lot of people on here agree with me that he's a pervy, inappropriate dude, that should not have been done at a place of work and should not have done with people that young, whether they were 16 or 22 or 25. Wasn't appropriate. And the fact that he took that conversation in a sexual direction, well, it starts to paint a picture, especially when you find out other stuff on the internet. Not saying what. I'll let you figure that out. Oh, God, I still laugh about this, guys. Like 3 days later, I laugh about this stuff. And I'm just going to say, unrelated, isn't it funny how, like, the dudes who always act the manliest, the dudes are always the manliest dudes, like, I did, like, always, talking about their exploits and their sexual escapades. And the ones who always talk pervy and sexual, they're always into the weirdest shit, aren't they? Like, really weird. And like I found these, Trump. Oh, I hate all this transgender stuff. Like I'm not a huge fan of it either. I especially don't think it should be around kids. I think that's fucking criminal. I'm not going to be going to any kind of like drag queen, whatever else, but I don't hate gay people. There's gay people out there that don't go for that shit either, right? But there are always the guys out there that end up doing the perviest, weirdest gay type kind of shit. Isn't it weird? And I don't know why. I'm actually mad at myself that I did not do that sooner. I've been very lazy. I have Crohn's disease. I have health issues. I have times where I just don't have energy, unfortunately. And yeah, finding out that information was quite an eye opener, because had I been on my game, you guys would have found out about it sooner. And again, I'm not saying who it was. I am not saying who it was that I found out whose email addresses were signed up to those shemale websites, the shemale tube website. I can't stop laughing. For new people in the chat, right? For new people in the chat, I'll go over this again. You can skip this if you've already seen it. I'll share this tool here, and among others, right? There's an online version. Don't attempt to use it. It doesn't work right. It takes an email address and sees what the email is, what emails registered to accounts. Okay. Right. And if you run this tool, there's kind of a short video over here running, but essentially you put in the person's email address, command followed by email address, and it searches a database of a bunch of leaked data. And you can find out what that email address is signed up to. Okay. And I'm not going to say who, right? I'm not going to say who it was. You can watch this replay again. But a particular person in this community who acts very, very manly, tells people to suck his dick. He has a flavor for the shemales. He's signed up to 2 websites that about shemales. He's not signed up to any other porn websites that I see. Just 2 shemale websites. One is called A Shemale Tubes, which is like YouTube but for shemales, and the other one is a forum to discuss shemales. I can't remember the name. I'll go look it up real quick. Hold on. Hung Angels. Hung Angels. Oh. Oh my God, I'm gonna bust a lung laughing here. .com. Oh. God damn it, man. So yeah, watch this live again. But when you search someone's email address, in fact, I recommend you search everyone's email address that you get and put it in that tool just to see what kind of shit they're fucking signed up to. Now, keep in mind, like, and again, how do I phrase this? It's not going to show you illegal websites on here. It's going to show you only, open web. It's not going to show you dark web websites here. It's only going to show you data leak websites where the user base of a particular website has been exploited, right? But there's, in addition to being signed up to Twitter and to Spotify and a few other ones that sell merch, this particular person is also signed up to 2 shemale websites. And, it's always the manliest dudes that like the chicks with dicks. I say, if you find out who this person is, and, obviously it didn't take a whole lot of fucking detective work, you should probably, let them know that you're accepting of their lifestyle and, come out of the closet of being, a tranny lover. All right. Only the biggest badasses do this. Okay. 10 Hut. Okay. Anyway, folks. Yeah. Oh my God. It's weird. It's pervy. And people who do pervy shit do other pervy shit. Right. But anyway, changing topics. Not talking about Triple T before. I'm talking about Triple T now. For legal reasons. Okay. No, this person did not get Tom McDonald pregnant, but might try to get pregnant by Tom McDonald. I don't know. talking, we joke around here about websites that people might be signed up to, but honestly, pervy videos of asking pervy questions to teenagers is not appropriate. Not appropriate in public, not appropriate, especially at their workplace where you are a manager, where you are their superior. There is an innate power difference there between somebody who is older in their early 40s and someone who is a 16, 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old. They're immediately going to look to you as an authority because you're older, right? And when you put on a different uniform and you're a manager, you're also in a position of authority. And when you're asking them questions and steering the conversation, always in a sexual manner, never asked about, tell me about the wild parties you teens have. Tell me a funny story about what happened. Tell me about the funny story that happened at McDonald's. Tell me about the funny story when you guys pranked your teacher, or filming pranks that teens do to one another, going wild as baggers. Hint: baggers gone wild, right? Like, to me, that's obvious content. I don't know. I do not work in the. I'm not a videographer. I do not work in the video industry. I have friends who do. I talked to them about this, and one of the first things they asked me was, "Did he get releases?" I said, "What do you mean? Did he get release forms signed with their ID proving they were 18? If they're going to make a TV show, he needs to prove that they're all of legal age to consent." And I said, "Okay, that's interesting. I didn't even think about that." But he brought up a lot of good points. He clearly didn't ask the military if it was okay to film in that grocery store they call a PX, post exchange. Didn't get permission for that. And I'm not trying to like needle him here, because at the end of the day, what really matters is his judgment. It's poor judgment. Okay. And again, there is a big red flag when all the questions you ask, every single one, is only of a sexual nature. So, there's a new video of him talking to that Brianna girl that wasn't a part of the videos I showed on Uncle Will's Live, where he's talking about asking her questions about looking at shit. I gotta go. Looking at her teacher's bulge in his pants, and did it turn you on? And you didn't look at his face though, did you? Like, really creepy shit. Guys, I gotta go. I gotta do be parenting shit. Listen, thank you everyone for coming in here. Please replay this live, share this live to anyone that you want. I want to thank everybody who came in here. Cosmic Kate, Apple Creek, Louisiana High Ride. Kay, I'm here. Kay, I always absolutely love having you. I know it's going to be a decent stream when Kay is here. That's what I know. Right. I want to say thanks to Limu Emu for coming in. Angela, why are you not a mod, Angela? We need to fix that right the fuck now. Angela's one of my favorite people on the internet. Like, she's out there profiling, she's out there archiving. She don't let anybody get away with shit. Like, if you're one of those people that films one thing on one day and and doesn't, and tries to say you didn't do it the next day, Angela's going to have that evidence. She's going to have them receipts on your ass. And I appreciate that personally. I think that's great. You guys, if you can't stand up for your word, then you're a piece of shit, right? So, like, you shouldn't have any problem with anybody archiving your shit. I'm going to show real quick. Where did all my shorts go? Oh, I'm on the wrong goddamn channel. That's why. That one's really funny, by the way. You should watch it on my The Dan Redbeard channel. Here, I'm going to show this one. Oh, yeller, oh, yeller, oh, yeller. Beer yeller, come back yeller. Best dog on dog in the West. Yep, 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 yep. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much. I love you all. And again, Sherlock is one of those tools. You need to have a Unix or Linux-based system to use it properly. Linux is free. You can start a virtual machine in your computer, and you can start doing looking up some open source intelligence on people. In fact, I'll do an open source intelligence stream. Show people how to use these tools, and you can throw me email addresses you'd like me to check, and I can show everybody to do it. But thank you, everyone. Thanks for coming here. And I'm going to jump off. Like the stream if you can. I'm not making any money at this, nor do I want to. I do this for fun. You guys are my friends. So, but liking the stream does get it out there. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.